let's talk about artificial intelligence and having the right audience inside your insurance agency. That's what we're talking about in today's video. So let's get started. But before we do, remember, share, subscribe, and like the channel below. So as insurance agents and agency owners, we're always trying to figure out who is our target audience. Oh, it's homeowners or it's business owners. And look, that's awesome. But that's only the first step. And what I have seen time and time again is, hey, why are my leads not converting? Well, one reason is we're not talking to the audience right. You see, think about this. A homeowner who owns $1 million home probably has different messaging than a homeowner that owns a $100,000 home. So, what can you do to increase your messaging and improve your messaging with an audience like this? Well, that's what I'm showing you today. So let's jump into the AI tool, and I'm going to show you exactly what prompts and what tools to use to build out these audiences and these what I call micro audiences. So let's jump over to that computer now. Sorry, my recording did not record the first time. So let me go back to the top. And I've done all this work in ChatGPT now. I want to show you how I've done it. So this is my insurance target audience builder, and I'll have the link in the video in here for you that you can use. But what we've done is, look, you can see the prompt that we gave it here about homeowners with a mortgage over $250,000. Look, as I mentioned, the audience is homeowners. The micro audience, though, are going to be that high-end homeowner. You see, a high-end homeowner, someone who's got a replacement cost maybe more than $250,000 on a home, is going to be different than someone who's got a replacement cost of $75,000. They're worried about different things. For example, with the National Flood Insurance Program, you can't get coverages above $250,000 here in 2025. So that homeowner may be more concerned with more coverages. The $75,000 mortgage may be just worried about covering what the bank covers because they don't have to worry about having a gap there. So you see, there's different messaging, there's different pain points. But as we go through this, we look just at this homeowner in general in Alabama. We're looking at the age range here. We're looking at the demographics and all these different things that it's giving us, as you can see right here. And we've given it a little more narrative, a little more prompt here. Now we've gone a little deeper of what it will be here. And now it's built this micro audience of this, the conscious protector. And what I like to call is, you've got your price driven and you've got your coverage driven people. At some point we were all price driven. What was it that motivated us to move from price driven to coverage driven? Did something happen in our lives? And so we've got to understand that the messaging for maybe a price driven customer and a value driven customer might be different. The problem is, as insurance agencies, we are speaking to them the same and we're losing them. Because we should be speaking the audiences the same. We should be having these micro audiences, these micro messagings. Whether you're using an agency Zoom, a HubSpot, an Easy Links, you should have these messaging built and your segmentation built correctly, where when your automation goes out, the messaging is really segmented for each one of these audiences. So as we go through and we look at all these different things that you've seen here now, you can kind of see the power here. Now look, I might go round and round. You could go super deep with this. You could go all the way down to a zip code if you wanted, knowing that zip code, knowing certain things that happen in that zip code, messaging, talking to the customer, and really dialing that in. Or you could go super broad. That's the benefit of having your audience and your micro audiences. Remember, for example, if we're talking about a audience that are business owners, micro audiences might be commercial truckers, and we may even have more micro audiences under the commercial truckers, specifically operators, specifically owners, fleet managers, things like that. On homeowners, we may have high value, high net worth. We work with a lot of insurance agencies who focus on high net worth individuals, which typically are going to be homes above $750,000. The messaging there is different than someone with a home value probably of $250,000. The income is different, the protection is different, the exposure is different, and understanding that so that you can deliver the right messaging to your target audience is extremely crucial here. And it will help drastically increase your conversions. So you see all the information that it's giving us right here. So now what we've done is we're going to go and we're going to copy and paste this. We're going to go back over to Manus now that we've been working on. So what we did is, let me scroll back to the top here. So we took everything that we just used in ChatGPT and we copied it over here. We also copied over a systemized instructions on a GPT that we had built specifically on ebooks for homeowners. And you see the prompt, some of the prompts that I have given it. You may not be able to see that full one right there, but the benefit of a Manus over ChatGPT is like ChatGPT, when you give it instructions, you have to stop it, you have to start it. With Manus, you continue to keep talking to it, and you can interrupt it at any time. And you can see the following of kind of what it's doing here on this different ebook. You see the different instructions right here that I've given it. And the benefit is on the right-hand side here, you can actually see the work that it's doing. And as we go through and it continues to tell you the following that it's going to do, you can interrupt it at any time. It's actually going into these sites and it's analyzing this data and it's showing you the work it's doing. Some would call this a super agent. Remember, Manus is the wrapper or the skin. It's built on the Claude brain. ChatGPT is built on OpenAI, different brains. So they may do different things. So as we go through this, though, we're going to continue to monitor Manus as it goes through and as it helps build this. Remember, these ebooks should be more than 10 pages, and this specifically should be built with your data. So you're providing incredible value to Google, to the AI search, to your customer, because you're being very specific, because you know what drives cost in these particular zip codes. You've got the data on the policies you've written. You know how much coverage. You know the frustrations these particular people have had. So you're really dialing in this messaging. You're providing something that's very unique. And that's going to be very important going forward with AI search, the way you really to search every optimization. I'm not just using this as an ebook, but now taking different things out. And once this ebook is built and we build it with some different apps of how it can help us build some graphics for social media. It could help us potentially put together a script for a YouTube video. All these different things where now you've built this pretty good marketing strategy based off this one thing that you may have a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks of content just off of this one little ebook because of the different things. In fact, sometimes on this 10-page ebook, what I might do is I might actually take it and build a YouTube series. Now look, we can kind of see, and look here, we see right here, go always click right here and submit this because you get the credits. That's 100 credits it's given you. So now we can see all the files that Manus has built. Let's go over here and see these files. Let's just see the ebook cover. You see the ebook cover here? So you can kind of see what we've done here. But we haven't gone far enough. Like you saw the ebook. See, we see the infographic. See these different things here with the Chattahoochee River and all these things. This is still a little AI, but it's a good start. Now, here's the thing, though. Now, what? See, it left my logo off one of the covers. These are things you still got to look at. Like I tell people every day, look, we still need a human touching these things, and I think we always will at some point. Of hey, it may be that your human's over 100 different agents. Like you can see, I'm working in ChatGPT right now. I'm working in Manus. I'm also getting ready to show you some different things on some different ones here. But let's just go through and look at this guide here. We've got a table of contents. It's kind of telling me all this. And now let me take this and let me download this as a PDF. Now let me go over to another website. All right, so this is gamma.app. This is really good for building presentations, some different things. Here, we're going to go and we're going to upload from a file. Oops, I hit URL, upload from file. Looks like it may not download. Let's see. Oh, it's fine. So it is the right one there. All right, so let's put this in here, and we're going to hit, it's uploading that file right now, which is a pretty decent file. Let's actually continue with a web page, because the ebook's going to look more like a web page. There are some small adjustments we can make. You can see all these things here. I'm actually going to go over here to generate with AI right here. I want to actually use the word preserve here. I want to actually preserve my text because I've already put this stuff in here. So it's kind of splitting up my content because it's preserving it. Now we're going to hit continue. Now we're going to decide on a template. Okay, what template we're going to use here? Well, let's find something along the colors as close as we can to the flood insurance guru. This might be it right here. Yeah, that's pretty close. So let's use this. Let's go ahead and hit generate. And what's happening is this is actually working on building this out for us. So we've got to give it just a second to generate here. And you're going to see kind of as it starts to work. And look, this thing is not going to be perfect. In fact, we may go back and forth between, like I can already tell you, don't know how I feel about the text here. As you can see, though, it starts to look at some things. But like, for example, right here would be a great opportunity potentially, for a video on a web page talking about Atlanta's home risks. Once again, showing those images there. And you see how specific we're getting with statistics here? And the building requirements and all these things, and with the city of Atlanta, and how valuable, it's going to find something like this. I said, you could turn this into a web page. You could keep this as an ebook. You could keep it gated, whatever. You could put it in your learning center. But the amount of value that it's adding here for you. Even what your bank requires, a case study of mortgage requirement reality, what we've seen in all these different things. Once again, it could be a good opportunity here on our webpage for another video right here. And you see it's using that data that we gave it on the annual premium. And this is, look, remember, this is something your competition doesn't have because this is your data source. So what these people are paying, maybe compared to the national average or the state average. If something was private here and all these different things. We can start to see the real data here now with an elevation certificate or without it. If it's below at the BFE, the base flood elevation, or below it. So you're starting to see, the incredible value here. As you said, we're turning this into, this turns out to be a pretty good ebook, right? It actually turns out to be a really good web page. And it is a pretty long web page. And as it goes through all this and it continues to finish these things, I'm going to continue to dial this in. And when I'm done, I could just download this and use this if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. I'm going to continue to dial this in. At this point, I may have a VA step in or my graphic designer step in and tweak this a little bit, like the text. I'm not a big fan of the text. And in just a second, I'm going to show you exactly how I can improve the text using something like a manus. And it even talks about the call to actions here and all this different stuff where you see, okay, now we've got all this done. Now, it didn't give us really a truly call to action here, as we could have put one here. But let's just go ahead and let's share and let's just export this to a PDF. Which will take a second. All right, now let's go back over the manus. So this was, I can't remember the name of it now. Smart. All right. All right, so we've uploaded this, and now Manus is working on this again for us. And on the right-hand side, you can start to see it as we've given it this, and it's telling us exactly what it's going to be doing. Now, this one should be a much faster process than what's been done before, but we'll have to do a little bit. As you can start to see in here, you can start to see how it's analyzing everything and it's looking at everything. And it's reading that file and it's updating it. And let's see how fast it. I also want to remove any kind of AI images in there. I'm just not, I hate AI images sometimes. They look too fake and things. And it's one of the things I meet with our team about is, if someone is looking at your website, for example, on flood insurance, I don't have a family playing on a playground probably. What you want to talk about on your website is when you're trying to solve a problem, that picture needs to visualize whoever that audience is, or what success looks like for that audience, or whatever that is. And that's what we find. Even the image needs to relate back to the audience that you're looking at there. And you see how ChatGPT is looking at all these different photos and things, and it's analyzing things. Now, remember, this is just for an ebook, so this is not, we would not typically use these type of photos on our website. You can be careful with copyright. You always want to make sure when looking at your photos, that things are royalty free, because you will get hit with fines. Trust me, I've been hit with fines and had to pay them. And you just don't want to get hit with that. But on this one, we're not that worried about it because we're using this as an example in this video. I'm just trying to show you the process here of how I would do this. All right. So as we continue to wait on it to build this, let's see how long it takes it to do this. But look, if we're talking about auto insurance, we're talking about home insurance, even life insurance, you can do this with all these things. The important thing is that your data is accurate. And the important thing is that you're looking at the right data in your CRM. And if you don't have a CRM, getting one implemented is very important. If you need help on picking a CRM, you can gladly reach out to me. I do some consulting with people on helping them implement the right CRM into their organization. But making sure that you have the right data, that your data is telling the right story and all these things. And remember, in using this data, we're not looking for personal information on customers. We're really looking for that zip code. We're looking for that cost, coverage amounts. Maybe you could even filter it based on people who have claims. And people with claims are really trying to figure out, hey, what could my cost be if I have more than 2 home insurance claims? You could go as detailed as that on a micro audience if you wanted to. But as you start to see now how we're building this out, is that this marketing is not super generic like everybody else. It's very specific as it should be. Because everything's going to come back down to 3 things: research, strategy, execution. And we've got to make sure we're executing for the right audience here. So let's let this thing do its work and we will come back. All right, Manus has finished our book. Let's see what it looks like. Now, this is what's called a flip book, which means you can hit right here and the page flips. Some people like flip books, some don't. But I kind of want to just show you what this looks like. Personally, now me, I'm not a fan of it. I don't think it had put as much images in there. And like I said, I go back and forth a lot with it on this. Now, what I could do is I could take this. You see, it'll tell me it's right. It's going back through and it's redoing, it's reviewing it again. It's looking at all these things. I could go back to Gamma and I could do it again. And here, in fact, let's do this here. Let's go to the files. Let's go to, see what this looks like. All right, so let's go download this. Now let's go back over to the Gamma app. And let's, instead of doing it as a web page this time, see if I can find it. Doesn't look like it's saved, right? So let's go back over here again. Oh, footbook. Okay, let's see. So it's not downloaded right. So let's go to, let's go to, now, let's see. This file is a little tricky because in HTML, so then let's just but what I could do then is take this HTML you see here that we just saw on this, click back on this ebook right here. We could take this and actually we could put this as a website page, and we could put a form on the front where people have to give us their contact information, and then they get this ebook. And then we could take this HTML and we could have this transformed into a PDF that could be emailed out to them as well. So it's exactly how you could do it here. But this is the process I would use in building this lead generator using your own data with your audiences and your micro audiences. So I hope you have found this video valuable. So as you see, having these audiences and these micro audiences can be huge for your agency, because now you're delivering the right kind of message to them. They know they're in the right place. They know that you're the go-to person in your area or whatever topic it is that you're helping them with. Look, and if you want to join our community where we also walk you through the standard operating procedures and all these things, click in the description below. It's only $47 a month, and you can cancel anytime. I'm Chris with Niche Your Business, and I look forward to speaking to you in our next artificial intelligence video. Thank you.